Greetings to my 899 subscribers, and of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, watch the video, and if you think it's worth the while, remember to like and subscribe. So tonight we are looking at the Dingle Batch 6 edition. Of course, it is a nice Irish whiskey. It is bottled at 46.5% ABV. It is matured in Tawny Port casks. Kind of like that idea. Natural color, non-chill filtered, and it costs about €70 for a no-age statement whiskey. So of course, still within our pre-arranged budget whiskey, or whiskies that a lot of people are interested in, between 50 and €100. But it is a little bit on the steep side, well, according to my budget. I also did a review on the Dingle triple distilled a couple of weeks ago, and that was at 46.3% ABV. So I like the idea that they are not doing the norm with 40 or maybe just over 40% ABV. So they bump it up a little bit, and they put it a natural color, and they put it a non-chill filter. So for me, that is a good sign in a distillery that is really promoting the better side of whiskey. So this one on the nose, this is the Dingle Batch 6, is still available if you just go look a little bit online. Color wise, it is natural color. Of course, it was matured in that Tawny Port cask. So how long, I don't know. It is a no-age statement whiskey, but it does have a nice golden color going into a little bit of an amber color. So on the nose, cheers. Now, the first thing that I got after pouring it, immediately I get a little bit of a rubber note. Now, I've seen it in quite a lot of whiskies that is matured in ex-sherry casks, a little bit of a sulfur note, and sometimes a little bit of a rubber note. I did a Dutch whiskey, well, quite a long time ago, and it was overpowering, that rubber note that came out. And this one is just a hint of it, but I poured this one maybe 15-20 minutes ago just to give it a little bit of an oxidization, and the rubber note is still there. You know, when you put on a rubber glove, a surgical gloves, just a hint of that rubbery notes that come. So just a hint of that rubber note that you can get on the nose. But then it takes over the sweetness. Loads and loads of sweetness. There's no mistaking that this is a sherry cask. This is mature, from what I could find out, a full duration in sherry, so it's not ex-bourbon and then moved over to a sherry cask. This is the full maturation, 4 years, 5 years, I don't know. But wow, it is really nice. So definitely this is something for the sweet tooth. If you like sweet sherry cask whiskies, this is obviously for you. But there's a little bit of a vanilla now also peeking out. That rubber note, definitely not off-putting. And it seems to be, with a little bit of time in the glass, it seems to be coming a lot more sweeter for me as well. There's a little perfumey note coming out. Oh, and that lovely sweetness. It does smell that it's a well-balanced sweet whiskey. Even at a little bit of a higher ABV, 46.5% ABV, I don't really get it on the nose. It's not ethanol-y, it's not youthful, it's just quite mellow, but definitely it's telling you that this is a sherry cask finish. It's like actually smelling a higher ABV Tawny Port. That is nice. It reminds me a little bit of something that you'll get in a sweet dessert wine. There's a hint of a wininess in it. A little bit of raisin notes coming out, a little bit of fig note coming out, a little bit of a sweet dates coming out. On strawberry jam, it reminds me of strawberry jam. Not this store-bought, but a nice, sweet, homemade strawberry jam. There's also a little bit of a spiciness. And what it reminds me a little bit of when my son brings home some sushi, they always have the small little packets of the ginger, the pickled ginger, that mellow, gingery note coming out. But just in the background, a little bit of a pickled ginger note, but just a hint of that. Really nice. Even with a little bit of an agitation, I don't really get much of that alcohol. So nose-wise, oh, absolutely fantastic. This is something for the winter. It is Belgium, and it's now 5 degrees in the evening. So it's quite cold. So I think this will warm the heart and the stomach and everything quite nicely. So taste-wise, cheers. That strawberry jam is there. The sweetness. Definitely you get the alcohol. There's a strength in the alcohol. It definitely warms you down. A hint of a bitterness, just a hint of it. And I think that's quite necessary. It is quite sweet, that initial sweetness. And then you need a little bit of bitterness of a tannin from that oak, just to calm it down a little bit, warm the mouth. Not an oily one, but a sweet one, and my whole mouth is now covered with this lovely sweetness, like raisins, dates, figs, but definitely not oily. It's a little bit on the dry side. Let me just try again. Now, there's definitely not a complexity in this one. For me, it is that lovely sweetness, a little bit of a jammy strawberry still in it, and of course a little bit of that Christmas cake fruits that you can get. That a little bit of that oak, and a little bit of a spicy note as well, especially on the second sip. A little bit of a peppery note, but not a taste of pepper, but just a heat, a little bit of a heat component coming through it. Definitely not a complex one. If you are looking for something that's complex, that you're going to spend hours nosing and tasting it and find something new every time, I don't think this is the one. Considering it's a little bit expensive, 70 euros, I'm not so sure if it's worth the 70 euros. Now, I do like it, make no mistake, and I think there's a lot of people that will tell me that they love it, and I'm one of them. I do like it maybe, but I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to spend 70 euros for a bottle of a no-age statement. Although it is nice, but I think you can do much better with a different whiskey. Even the normal Dingle triple distilled was for me also very nice. But spending that extra money on this one, I'm not so sure. But it is nice on the nose and it's nice on the taste, but very flat, one-dimensional, nothing special on the nose, nothing special on the taste. Very drinkable though. I think if I give this even to a non-whiskey drinker, a high-strength port, and I think they will actually agree that, wow, it is a high-strength port because it's very port-dominant whiskey. One more try. Yep. Definitely something that I would recommend that you can try it. But of course, it's up to you if you are willing to spend up to 70 euros for a bottle of a no-age statement whiskey. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers!